Russians say it's just a military drill. But is it really a provocation from Russia? Let's find out. Joining me now is retired Vice Admiral Mark Norman, the former commander of the Royal Canadian Navy and a fellow of the Canadian Global Affairs Institute. Mark Norman, welcome to Power Play. Great to have you in the studio.
Great to see you, Joyce. Thank you.
So the Admiral Gorshkov frigate is in the Western Atlantic. So what is it doing there so far from home and so far from Ukraine?
Well, it's a great question. And so I think, if I can, let's talk about the ship for a second, and then we'll talk about what it may or may not be doing and why this is really of interest. The Gorshkov is about a 10-year-old frigate. Frigate is a relatively modest type of vessel. Canada's Navy is made up mostly of frigates, so they're roughly the same size, about 450 feet long, about 4,000 to 5,000 tons. Nothing impressive in and of itself. And as I said, it's a relatively new ship for the Russian fleet, and it's about 10 years old. Probably the most significant aspect of this particular ship is that it carries a new state-of-the-art missile system called the Zircon missile, which is a very capable hypersonic missile that's designed to destroy other ships and potentially attack land targets at ranges upwards of 1,000 kilometers. The exact range, we're not really sure. That's the ship. And so what? Well, it's very curious. The ship is based in the Northern Fleet of Russia in Murmansk. It's reportedly on its way to do some joint exercises with the Chinese Navy and the South African Navy. And we can come back to that. One would not typically drive from Murmansk to South Africa via the Western Atlantic.
Because where are they? Near Bermuda?
Well, that's the last report, and of course they're not reporting their position anymore, so we don't really. I'm sure the military folks know exactly where she is, but we in the public domain don't know where she is. So this is clearly a stunt, a political demonstration.
But who are they trying to impress?
Well, I think they're trying to do two things, is my guess. One is they're trying to demonstrate what they've been saying all along, the rhetoric out of Moscow, that the actions of the West as it relates to what's going on in Ukraine are provocative from a Russian perspective, and that there will be repercussions. And so this is a signal, modest as it is, that the Russian military is modern, it's capable, and that they can reach out anywhere that they want to go, including into the Western Atlantic, which is traditionally the stronghold of the United States and its allies.
But nobody is particularly, how can I say, either impressed or worried about this.
No.
NATO, NORAD, the Americans.
Exactly. They're watching it very carefully because it is of interest. But I think the secondary audience is a domestic audience in Russia, and I think this is a mechanism by which the Kremlin and the Russian military can demonstrate to its own population that it has a vibrant, modern military, and that they're not going to be pushed around by the West and the United States. The fact that the Russians have communicated publicly in a press release the fact that they're exercising simulated missile launches is humorous to me as a former naval officer. We do this kind of thing all the time, and we don't send out press releases. So, I think this just speaks to the fact that this is all about messaging.
Flexing muscles,
exactly.
or whatever.
Saber rattling.
So